Hi there, this is Chauke. I'm a professional teacher for accounting. If you're watching this, you're definitely at the right place. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down there, and I promise you that will make your accounting problems a thing of the past. And now, in this morning session, we're going to be looking at trading other payables note as well as the statement of financial position. Here, they're saying that you're provided with information relating to a stores for the financial year end 30 June 2022. The business is owned by as in goes. So here what we are required to do, we are required number one, to make sure that we prepare the trade and other payables note for 6 marks as well as the statement of financial position, and we are told that our year ends on 30 June each and every year. Now, like I always say, grade 10s, the most important thing that you need to make sure that you do is to always make sure that you start by your structure. Now, we know that in our trade and other payables note, we are supposed to have prepaid expenses, income received in advance, and other things, but you need to check what are you going to have. Okay, so but we know that we are expecting to have we'll mostly have our prepaid expenses, and we know that prepaid expenses are expenses that have been paid before time. So remember, we are supposed to have prepaid expenses, and then we are also going to have our income received in advance. Okay, so we are also going to have our income received in advance, meaning that we got that income before we could render a service, so therefore we owe these people. And then after this, you go to the format of your balance sheet. Remember, under your balance sheet, you are supposed to have fixed assets here. So we're going to have fixed assets here, and then after that, we are supposed to have our financial assets. This will help you to develop confidence to know what to include. And then after this, under current assets, we are going to have trade receivables. So I'm going to write it here: trade and other trade and other receivables. And then I'm going to open my bracket so that I can include the calculations. And then after this, we would have cash and cash equivalents. Okay, and then under this, after this, under owner's equity, we'll have our capital. Remember, that is what you're going to start by. And then once you start with that, you move to your current liabilities. Your current liabilities, we know you are supposed to have trade and other payables. You'll most likely also have trade and other payables. You also have bank overdraft if it's there, and current portion on loan, but we will need to check on what we have. So maybe we can just check here. So let's see, the opening balances for capital, we have 525,000, but we need to check if there was any additional information. And then okay, so it means that that is our opening balance for capital. It is not the closing balance. So that capital balance, we are going to start by inserting it here. Remember, this 525,000 is going to be our opening balance for the capital note. Okay, so that 525,000 will come here. That is how you start to collect marks. So I've used 525,000. I also have 32,000, so it means that here I must say minus 32,000. And then the next adjustment says that fixed assets at carrying value is going to be a balancing figure. For fixed deposit, they say I need to see information C, and then for loan I need to see information E, so I'll come back to them. So trading stock according to here is 99,500. So I'm going to go to my inventories and include it here as 99,500. And then I also have, so I've used this trading stock. Next, I have the task control. Remember, the task control is part of trading other receivables, so I'm going to include that 68,000 here. And then from there, I go to the next information. I have creditors control. Creditors control is part of my trade and other receivables, so meaning that it has to be part of the note, so I'm going to include it here as 23,000. And then From there, we have bank overdraft of 30,000. So I'm going to go to my balance sheet under current liabilities and include bank overdraft. And then remember that bank overdraft, according to the calculations, is 30,000. To the information is 30,000. So you start by inserting the information that we're given. Then after that, I have petty cash. My petty cash is 5,000, and then my cash float is 1.5. So meaning that I won't have to do that node. I'll have to work in brackets. So I'm going to say 5,000 here. Under cash and cash equivalents, we're going to say 5,000 and then plus 1,500. Then we already have marks there. So this has already been used. We have consumable stores on hand for 550, so it will become part of our inventory note here. So consumable stores on hand, we're going to say plus 550. Then we go to the next one. We have accrued expenses. Remember, accrued expenses is part of trade and other payables. So we're going to say here, we are not supposed to have prepaid expense here. We are supposed to have accrued expenses. They didn't say trade and other receivables, so we're going to say accrued expenses here. Okay, I forgot that I was not. So remember, guys, to always remember your notes by heart. It's supposed to be accrued expense, not prepaid expenses. Prepaid expenses will go to our trade and other receivables. So our accrued expenses, according to here, is 3,200. So that 3,200, I'm going to put it here. Okay, and then let's see next what we have. Next from this, we would have income received in advance. It means that this is the money you got before you could render a service, so therefore you owe those people. So that income received in advance, the 10,000, will come under here because it is a liability. And then from there, we have our prepaid expenses for 6.8. So those prepaid expenses, remember, they are part of the balance sheet note. So prepaid expenses is part of trade and other receivables. So let's check if we have debtors control here. So debtors control, according to here, is 68,000. I can't remember where did I write this 68,000. Okay, at 68,000. Trade and other receivables 68,000. So we're going to say this plus okay, let's check something. Okay, so we're going to say that 68,000, and then I think we had prepaid expense, so plus 6.8. Okay, so we'll do it in the brackets here, plus 6,800. You have around 12 marks for inserting this information without dealing with the adjustments. And then next year we are going to have our loan. Then once we are done with this, we can safely go to our adjustments and hear what we need to do. Adjustment number one, number A says that the net profit for the year has not been taken into account. So meaning that this is what you're going to use in your capital note. So remember, net profit for the year is added to my capital note. So I'm going to say plus 172,000 here under my capital note. So I'm going to say plus 172,000. Then I'm done with adjustment number A. Next, they say transfer a credit balance of 5,500 in the debtors ledger to the creditors ledger. So I check this credit balance is on the credit side. So when I transfer it, I have to record it on the opposite side of that. I remember here, this 5.5. It is in the, but they're saying transfer a credit balance of 5,500 in the debtors ledger. So it's very important for me to note here that my debtors ledger has got a debit balance. So if it has got a debit balance and I have to take it out in a credit balance, sorry, they say it has a credit balance. So if it has a credit balance, it means when I move it out of this, because it's on the credit side, when I move it, I will then have to debit. So it means that we are going to add to our trade and other receivables. Okay, so we are going to start there in our trade and other receivables. We're going to say plus 5,500, and this is a common transaction. So remember, they said we have a credit balance that is in the debtors ledger that we must take out and put it in the creditors ledger. This is because it will mean that we are owing that particular debt, so hence we are moving him or her out of the debtors ledger to the creditors ledger. So when we take him in the creditors ledger, remember the at the moment the debtors ledger has got a credit balance of 5.5, so it means we debited debtors control. Then when we move this to the creditors ledger, we'll have to credit creditors control, so it's going to be under trade and other payables is going to be plus 5,500. So guys, you need to make sure that a transaction that includes two accounts is recorded on both sides. Okay, then we are done with this. Then we can go to the next transaction. The next transaction says that the financial assets of 23,250 at Allied Bank consist of the following. So number one, we know that our financial assets is 23,000. According to this, it is 23,250. You start by recording that, and then so financial assets, remember it's 23,250. So our financial assets 23,250. What are they saying? In this 23,250, they are saying a fixed deposit of 8,000 that will mature on the 31st of August. So remember, August, this maturity of 8,000, this fixed deposit is maturing in the next 3 months, because after June we are going to 2 months we are going to have July and August, so it means it's maturing within the next 12 months. So what must we do? We must take it out of the long-term financial assets and bring it under cash and cash equivalent as a fixed deposit. So I'm going to subtract that 8,000 here, so I'll say minus 8,000, then I bring it to cash and cash equivalents as plus 8,000. Okay, very important for you guys to always make sure that you understand that long-term assets, financial assets, need to be separated between long-term and short-term. Okay, now the next one here, they're saying that goods to the value of 1,500 was donated to a local orphanage. The entry was correctly reflected in the income statement, so meaning that in the income statement this entry is there, but the problem is that no other entries were made, meaning that our inventory figure was not updated, so we must update it. Remember, donations will reduce the value of our inventory. So remember here, we had 99,500 and I think it was plus 550, and then we'll say minus that 1.5. Let me just check. This software seems to not be saving some of the work that I'm doing, so it would give us a problem, but I think yes, so everything is fine now. So after this, then you can go to the next adjustment. Remember, we have recorded it. Now next we have the loan statement. Loan statement, guys, all you need to do is you must know that you must be able to get your current portion if they didn't give you the portion that will be paid in the next financial year, and you must also have the closing balance of the loan. So we know that for us to get the loan, here they're saying the loan statement from received from Gwede Bank was as follows. The balance was 350,000, repayments for the year 18,000, interest that is capitalized 12,000, balance on 30 June is it's a question mark, but we should be able to use this to get what we want. Okay, so meaning that you need to firstly get the closing balance. So for us to get the closing balance, we're going to say opening balance minus the repayments plus interest, then it will give us that closing balance. So we're going to say 350,000 under our loan. We're going to say 350,000 plus 18. Remember the repayment is minus, so we're going to say minus 18,000, and then plus 12,000. So also say plus 12,000, and then from there we need to get the current portion on loan because it was given. So we'll calculate it here as current portion on loan, and then we're going to say, remember, current portion is the difference between interest and the repayment. So we're going to say 18,000 minus 12,000, and it's going to give us 6,000. So that 6,000 will come here as a current portion on loan. And then remember, here we were firstly supposed to work out our we're firstly supposed to work out the closing balance. So I'm going to close this and then say subtract that 6,000 of the current portion. Okay, and then you will get full marks for this. So let's quickly do it on the side and see how much we are going to get. So use the brackets like I've shown you. It's going to help you to get accurate answers for a complicated answer like this. So I'm going to say I'm going to open the first bracket and then open the second one. 350,000 minus 18,000 and then plus 12,000, and then I close the bracket and I say minus 6,000, and then I close my bracket, and then my answer will be 338,000. So I'll have on my long-term loan, I'll have my answer as 338,000, and then also here my answer will be 338,000, and then from there we would be done dealing with our adjustment. If if you look at the transactions that we had, we have recorded everything. Remember I told you that if they tell you that the capital, the repayments of the capital portion of the loan will remain the same, it means that you get the difference between your repayments and interest that is capitalized. Remember, you are trying to get the capital portion alone without including interest, because here the repayments, they include interest. So we want to know how much exactly was taken to that capital loan without including interest. If you look at, you ask people who bought cars on credit, they will tell you that on their monthly statement it will show them how much was taken to the capital portion of the loan, as well as how much was taken to pay the interest. Okay, so that's what we are also trying to figure out here. It's the same thing. So now what we need to do then is to make sure that we close off our things. So we are going to start with answers that are easily available to us. Okay, now remember here on trading other payable receivables, we had I'm having challenges with the software not recording. Remember we said we were going to add back that I think it was 5.5. I don't know why, but the software is not recording some of the things that I'm showing you. So remember we had said here that we are going to debit the task control because it has a credit balance. So it means that here would say plus 5,500. So I'm going to close this off so that my answer can be saved. Okay, and also these I'll have to close it off. So we are going to try and get the final amount for these, and then also under cash and cash equivalents, I think everything is okay. So we are also going to close this off so that our answers can be saved. So let's see what we have first. Remember, you need to make sure that you try to earn as many marks as possible, and then we are going to start. Maybe we can start with the total of our trade and other receivables, just so that we can finish with it. Remember here we had said that we are going to say 23,000 and then plus that 5,500, because we are going to credit creditors control. Remember we debited the task control, so we'll credit this. So my apologies, I don't know why this software, it seems to not be saving my answers, but I hope that because you have a recorded copy of this, you will be able to recall what I said when I was doing that part. So remember, for trade creditors, we're going to say 23,000 plus 5,500. So our final answer would be 28,500. So I'm going to have it here, and then our accrued expenses will not change. So I'm just closing this bracket, and then our income received in advance did not change. So here we're going to have 3,200, and then also here we're going to have 10,000. So it means that when we do the totals, we'd have to add these three. So 28,500 plus 3.2 and then plus 10,000, it is giving us 41,700. So that 41,700 will come here. So we are done with this note and we have our full 6 marks. So we're going to say 28,500 plus 3,200 and then also plus 10,000, and then it is giving us 41,700. That's 41,700. We have to take it to our balance sheet under trade and other payables. So we have that 41,700 here, and here remember guys, the bank overdraft did not change, so you can just edit here and then you get your 30,000 here. Okay, so we are going to say to add these three, so we're going to say 41,700 plus 30,000, and then also plus 6,000, and see how much we are going to get. We are going to get 77,700. So we're already done with our current liability. So remember, we are trying to finish the things that we easily have. So let's close off our equity note. Our equity note, according to this, is going to be, we are going to say 525,000 minus 32,000, and then plus 172,000. Our answer is 665,000. So that 665,000 will come here, and then I'm going to put it on owner's equity to show that it is the total for owner's equity. So now once we are done with this, we must remember that there's a law that says our equity plus all liabilities, it will be equals to asset, because remember we don't have the balancing figure for our fixed asset, so we must look for it. So what I'm going to do, because equity and all liabilities are available to me, I'm just going to add their totals and get the subtotal. So we're going to say 665,000 plus 338,000, and then also plus 77,700. My total is 1,080,700. So we would have this here, 1,080,700, and I'm also going to put it under total assets, 1,080,700. Then from there, what I need to do, I need to make sure that I finalize all my current assets, because that is the thing that I'm not sure about. Okay, that I had, that is the information that is available to me. So we're going to say 99,500 plus 550, then we subtract 1.5, and then our answer is 98,550. So I'm going to put it here, 98,550, and then under trade and other receivables, we are going to say 68,000 plus 6.8, and then also plus 5.5. Our answer is 80,300. So we have that 80,300 here. And then for our cash, let's see, for our cash and cash equivalents, we're going to say 5,000 plus 1.5, and then plus 8,000. It is giving us 14,500. So that 14,500 will come here, and then from there we're going to get the total of all our current assets. So remember, it's going to be 98,550 plus 80,300, and then we are also going to say plus 14,500, and then our answer will be 193,350. So now we have our current assets, we have the total, but we don't know what is the total of our non-current assets, because fixed assets is a question mark. So let's get our financial assets first before we can get other things. Let's see how much would be our financial assets. So remember, 23,250, if we say minus 8,000, is going to give us 15,250. So that 15,250 will come here, and then from there, let's see what will be the total of our non-current assets, since we have total assets. So we're going to say 1,080,700, then we say subtract 193,350, and then the answer that we are getting is going to be 350. So 887,350. Okay, 887,350, remember, is our total for our non-current assets. So we can use them to get our fixed assets. So we're going to take this total in brackets. Remember, it's a balancing figure. We know that whatever that we're supposed to get here, when we add it to this, it will give us this. So we're going to say 887,000. Let me just confirm something. 887,350. Then we say subtract 15,250. Then it will give us the balancing figure of our fixed assets. So let's see how much we're going to get. So 887,350 minus 15,250, it is giving us 872,100. So our balancing figure here is 872,100, and this is how, guys, you do a balance sheet. So remember, you must always stick to the time that is allocated. Unfortunately, I think on this question paper, let me check what question were we doing. We won't know because it was a combined question, but I think you should be done in 36 minutes. So if you remember, I think our lesson for now, since I'm explaining, I'm not sure how long I took, but it should be less than 40 minutes. So even for you guys, when you write, you must make sure that you manage your time very well and that you verify your calculations. Okay, now if you look at this, you would also have some concepts that you guys need to make sure that you understand. For each and every topic that we do, you must know the concepts that are in relation with that. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want me to become your online tutor, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me by using the details that are available at the description of this video, so that we can discuss the payments and everything. But I promise you that I will make accounting to be a problem of the past for you, and that you're going to fall in love with accounting. If you know anyone who wants to sponsor our lessons, please link us with that particular person or that particular business. Thank you so much for watching, guys. May God richly bless you. Shalom.